Imagine a night so thick with shadow that even the stars seem to have abandoned their posts. A darkness that presses against your chest, stealing breath, drowning hope. The body aches as if it's carrying the ruins of a shattered world. The mind spins in a storm of relentless fears. The heart bleeds silently, a wound too deep for words. Have you ever stood in such a place, where every step feels like a stumble toward nothing, where the soul cries out for a lifeline but hears only echo? In those moments, when despair threatens to claim its throne, there exists a whisper from centuries past, a song carved into the marrow of time, a psalm that promises not just survival but a radiant, unshakable renewal. This is no mere relic of ancient ink. It is a living flame, a melody that has cradled the broken and lifted the fallen through generations. Today, its power calls to you. This is Psalm 30, a hymn, born not in triumph's golden glow, but in the ashes of a man's deepest trials. It's a voice that rises from the dust, daring to proclaim that no night is eternal, that every tear has a dawn waiting to claim it. If you've ever felt the weight of a life unraveling, if you've stood at the edge of surrender, this message is your beacon. It's not a collection of hollow platitudes or fleeting comforts. It's a battle cry for the weary, a vow that the storm will break and a hand will reach through the chaos to pull you into light. Today, we'll unravel its depths together, peeling back its layers to reveal why it has the power to heal. Not just the body, but the fractured spirit within. But first, pause, reflect. Have you ever stared into the abyss of your own struggles and wondered if anything could pull you back? If so, this journey is yours to claim. Picture this: a man named David, not a king draped in splendor, but a fugitive, trembling in the wilderness, hunted by enemies, haunted by loss. His hands, once steady with a shepherd's staff, now shake under the burden of betrayal and grief. Yet in that desolate place, he lifts his eyes, not to curse the heavens, but to sing. Psalm 30 spills from his lips, a defiant anthem of trust. Weeping may linger for the night, but joy comes with the morning. These aren't the words of a dreamer untouched by pain. They are the scars of a soul that has wrestled with despair and emerged victorious. And through the ages, this song has echoed. Through war-torn fields, through plague-ridden villages, through hearts cracked open by modern tragedies, carrying a truth that refuses to fade. Faith is the ember that outlasts the fire. What is it that holds a person upright when the ground beneath them crumbles? When the winds howl and the shadows lengthen, what keeps the spirit from breaking? The answer is older than the mountains, yet as fresh as the breath in your lungs. Faith. It's the unseen anchor that steadies a ship in the wildest tempest, the quiet pulse that beats beneath the chaos. History bears witness to its might. In 1963, a voice rose above a fractured nation. Martin Luther King Jr., standing before a sea of longing faces, declared, "With faith, we will hew a stone of hope from this mountain of despair." His words weren't just rhetoric. They were a spark that ignited a movement, proving that belief can reshape the impossible. Faith isn't a passive wish, it's a force, a current that surges through the veins of those who dare to trust. And science, that cold observer of facts, nods in agreement. In 2014, researchers peering into the human soul found something astonishing. Those who cradle faith through prayer, through meditation, face life's blows with a resilience that defies explanation. Stress ebbs, hearts lighten, bodies mend. Not by magic, but by a quiet power that flows from belief. This isn't about denying pain, it's about transcending it. Psalm 30 doesn't promise a world without scars. It offers a strength to bear them, a hope to outlast them. David knew this. Huddled in caves, pursued by death, he found a wellspring within. You have turned my mourning into dancing. His words ripple forward, reaching us now, whispering that no wound is beyond repair. Let's linger on a moment from our own time. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina roared through the Gulf, leaving behind a wasteland of splintered homes and shattered lives. Amid the wreckage, a small band of survivors gathered, not to mourn what was lost, but to lift their voices in prayer. They had nothing left but each other, and a fragile thread of hope. Years later, they'd tell you it was that thread that stitched their lives back together. Faith didn't erase the floodwaters, but it built bridges over them. That same lifeline stretches toward you now. Perhaps your storm is quieter, a silent ache, a fading dream, but its weight is no less real. Psalm 30 stands as your witness. You have lifted me up and not let my foes rejoice over me. The battle isn't the end, it's the forge where renewal is shaped. Before we dive deeper, a small nudge. If these words stir something within you, consider joining this journey. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It's a simple act that fuels more messages like this, reaching hearts that need them most. Now, take a breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. A reminder that you're still here, still fighting. We're only beginning. Ahead, we'll explore how gratitude rewrites our story, how praise shatters our chains, and how restoration turns ashes into something breathtakingly new. This isn't just a psalm. It's a map to rise again. Are you ready? Step into a barren field for a moment, a place where the earth is cracked and dry, where the wind carries only dust, where every horizon seems to mock you with its emptiness. Now, imagine bending low, sifting through that parched soil and finding a single stubborn seed. It's small, unremarkable, easily overlooked, but when you plant it, water it with intention and shield it from the scorching sun, something miraculous unfolds. A shoot breaks through, fragile yet fierce, reaching for life. This is gratitude, a seed that thrives in the harshest deserts of the soul. Psalm 30 doesn't just hint at this, it sings it boldly. I will exalt you, Lord, for you lifted me out of the depths. David, battered by life's relentless blows, didn't fixate on the dust. He chose to see the seed, and from it, a forest grew. What happens when you shift your gaze from the cracks to the glimmers? Not the grand, obvious blessings, the roaring victories, or the days of ease, but the quiet ones, the breath that still fills your chest, the stranger's fleeting smile, the memory of a laughter-filled moment that lingers like a soft echo. Gratitude isn't blind optimism, it's a rebellion against despair. It's standing in the rubble of a broken dream and whispering, I still have this. In 1928, a curious mind named Emmons set out to test this alchemy. He gathered a handful of ordinary people and asked them to etch 3 things they cherished onto paper each day. Weeks later, the results sang a quiet hymn. Their spirits lifted, their burdens lightened, their hearts grew armor against life's arrows. Science glimpsed what faith already knew. Gratitude doesn't just soften the fall, it builds wings to rise again. David understood this, crouched in the shadows of his exile. His enemies circled, his kingdom slipped through his fingers, yet he penned a song that didn't curse the dark but praised the light he trusted would return. You turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. This wasn't denial, it was defiance. He chose to see beyond the ashes, to count the embers still glowing. And here's the secret, that choice reshaped him. Gratitude isn't a fleeting warmth, it's a furnace, forging resilience from fragility. Think of your own life. How often do you tally what's lost, the missed chances, the unanswered prayers, while the gifts you still hold gather dust in the corner? Psalm 30 beckons you to turn the page, to write a new story where every scar becomes a star. But there's a twin to gratitude, a force even wilder, more untamed: praise. Picture a prison cell, stone walls slick with damp, chains biting into wrists, the air thick with the stench of despair. Two men, Paul and Silas, sit shackled in that gloom, their bodies bruised, their freedom stolen. By all rights they should weep, rage, or sink into silence. Instead, a sound rises, a song raw and unshaken, piercing the mid. They praise, not because their chains are gone, but because their God remains. And then, a tremor, a literal earthquake, shatters the prison's foundations, flinging doors wide. The book of Acts captures this moment, a testament to a truth as old as the hills. Praise is thunder that cracks the sky open. This isn't ancient folklore, it's a living pulse. In the chaos of World War II, soldiers huddled in trenches, mud-soaked and hollow-eyed, scribbled letters home about the hymns they hummed under artillery fire. Those melodies didn't stop the bombs, but they steadied trembling hands, quieted racing hearts. Today, science peers into this mystery. Studies from Duke University reveal that worship, that act of lifting voice or spirit, ignites the brain's deepest wells of peace. It's not just emotion, it's architecture, rebuilding what fear tears down. Psalm 30 weaves this into its fabric. My heart sings to you without ceasing. Praise isn't waiting for the storm to pass. It's dancing in the rain, proclaiming a truth bigger than the tempest. Now pause, feel the weight of this. Have you ever tried it? Lifting your voice when the world presses you low? Not a polished hymn, but a raw, trembling cry. I trust you still. It's not about perfection. It's about power. In 2005, after Katrina's wrath, survivors stood amid the wreckage singing through tears. Their homes were gone, but their praise was a lifeline, a bridge to tomorrow. That bridge is yours too. Maybe your chains are invisible, doubt, grief, exhaustion, but they're no less real. Praise doesn't always break the walls in an instant, but it cracks them, letting light seep through. Here's a quiet nudge. If this stirs you, if it lights a spark, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a small step that helps us keep sharing these truths, reaching others lost in their own nights. Now, back to the journey. Gratitude plants the seed, praise waters it with fire. Together, they turn a wasteland into a garden. But what happens when the night lingers longer than you can bear? When the pain feels like it's carved into your bones? Psalm 30 doesn't flinch from that question. It meets it head on. Ahead, we'll walk through the valley of suffering, not to linger, but to find the dawn waiting on the other side. The story's not over. Keep going. Imagine a chasm so deep, the sun forgets its edges. A place where shadows twist into claws, where every echo is a taunt, where the air itself feels like a shroud. Suffering carves such valleys into every life, uninvited and relentless. It's the diagnosis that steals your breath, the loss that hollows your days, the betrayal that fractures your trust. You've been there, haven't you? Knees pressed to cold earth, hands clutching at nothing, wondering if the light will ever find you again. Psalm 30 doesn't shy from this abyss. It strides into it, voice steady. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. This isn't a promise to erase pain. It's a vow that pain won't write the final chapter. Suffering is a universal tongue spoken across centuries, whispered in every corner of the world. In 1945, as the Second World War's embers cooled, a man named Viktor Frankl emerged from a concentration camp's skeletal grip. His family was ash, his body a ghost of itself, yet he stood, not broken, but reshaped. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote of peering into hell and finding purpose. What is to give light must endure burning. He didn't deny the flames, he let them forge him. This is Psalm 30, Serf's heartbeat. The night is real, but it's not the end. Frankl's story isn't a dusty relic, it's a mirror. Your valleys may differ, quieter perhaps, or louder, but their weight is no less crushing, yet within them lies a seed of strength, waiting to break through. David knew this terrain. Psalm 30 wasn't penned in a palace, but in the wilderness, amid pursuit, exhaustion, despair. He'd lost comrades, felt the sting of rejection, watched his dreams crumble like sand. Yet he sang, "You lifted me out of the depths." Not because the depths vanished, but because he found a hand reaching down. Suffering doesn't bow out politely, it fights, claws, lingers. But faith turns it from a captor into a teacher. Think of the Apostle Paul, chained in Roman dungeons, his back scarred from whips, his future a question mark. He wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." Absurd until you see it. Weakness strips you bare, but trust clothes you in something fiercer. Resilience born of surrender. History hums with this truth. In 2011, a tsunami swallowed Japan's coast, leaving behind a graveyard of homes and hopes. Amid the debris, survivors knelt, not in defeat, but in prayer. One woman, her voice trembling, said, "I lost everything, but I still have my soul." She rebuilt, not just walls, but meaning. Suffering didn't define her, it refined her. Psalm 30 whispers this to you, "You turned my mourning into dancing." The dance isn't denial, it's defiance. A step forward when every instinct screams retreat. Your pain, be it a quiet ache or a roaring wound, holds no dominion. It's a chapter, not the book. But how do you walk through that valley without crumbling? It's not about ignoring the shadows. They're real, sharp, cold. It's about lifting your eyes beyond them. In 2005, after Hurricane Katrina's rage, a preacher stood in a flooded church, water lapping at his knees, and said, "God doesn't waste a tear." His congregation, drenched and displaced, nodded through their grief. They didn't pretend the loss was small, they trusted it wasn't final. Science echoes this faintly. Studies show those who lean into faith during crises emerge less shattered, their spirits buoyed by an unseen current. Psalm 30 isn't a fairy tale. It's a map, tracing a path from ashes to dawn. Now, stand still. Feel the ground beneath you, cracked though it may be. What valley do you face today? A body that betrays you? A dream that slipped away? A heart that's grown heavy with time? The night feels endless until it doesn't. In 1944, a soldier in Normandy scribbled in his journal amid gunfire, "I don't know if I'll see tomorrow, but I know who holds it." He survived, not unscathed, but unbroken. That's the promise, not an absence of scars, but a strength to bear them. David sang it, Frankl lived it, countless others testify to it. His anger lasts a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. The storm passes, the light endures. Here's a gentle nudge. If this resonates, if it steadies you in your own dark, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a small act that keeps these stories alive, reaching others stumbling through their night. Now, back to the path. Suffering tests you, but it doesn't own you. Gratitude plants the seed, praise waters it, and now in the valley, faith carries you forward. Ahead lies a bridge. Prayer, the quiet power that binds you to the one who turns mourning into joy. We're not done yet. The dawn is closer than you think. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. A storm rages outside, wind howling like a beast unleashed, rain hammering the earth in relentless fury. Inside, you sit, small against the chaos, your chest tight with questions too heavy for words. The world feels distant, unreachable. Until you speak. Not a shout, not a plea for the storm to cease, but a whisper, "I'm here. I need you." That whisper rises, cuts through the tempest, and finds its mark. This is prayer, not a ritual, not a performance, but a thread spun from the soul, tethering you to a presence that never wavers. Psalm 30 knows this power. I cried to you for help, and you healed me. It's the cry of a man who found refuge when the night pressed hardest, and it's your invitation now. There are moments when human strength falters, when the body trembles, when the mind spins in circles, when the heart buckles under grief's weight. Words fail, plans dissolve, and the silence grows deafening. Yet in that stillness, prayer becomes a bridge, a path from the wreckage within to the one who sees every fracture. It's not about eloquence, it's about honesty. David, the warrior poet of Psalm 30, didn't kneel with polished phrases. Hunted, broken, he poured out his raw fears. Lord, my God, I call to you and you raised me up. His prayer wasn't a script, it was a heartbeat, a lifeline flung into the dark, and the answer came, not always as he imagined, but always as he needed. This isn't a relic of ancient days. It's a current that flows through time. During World War II, a young nurse in a bombed-out hospital scribbled in her diary, "The shells fall closer each night, but I pray and the fear loosens its grip." She didn't ask for the war to end. She asked for strength to face it, and it came, quiet as dawn, steady as stone. Science, ever the skeptic, has traced this too. A study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that those who pray carry less anxiety, their minds steadied by a rhythm beyond themselves. Prayer doesn't just reach upward, it reshapes what's within, turning chaos into calm, despair into trust. But how do you begin when the words won't come, when the pain is a knot too tight to unravel? Start where you stand. Prayer isn't a formula, it's a conversation. Picture a child tugging at a father's sleeve, stammering through tears, unafraid to be messy. That's what God craves, your truth, unfiltered. In 2011, after Japan's tsunami swallowed entire towns, a fisherman sat amid the ruins of his life, whispering to the sky, "I don't know why, but I know you're here." No grand theology, just a man and his maker. Over time, that whisper grew into a song, and he rebuilt, not just his boat, but his hope. Psalm 30 echoes this, "You turn my wailing into dancing." Prayer was the pivot. It's more than a plea for rescue. It's a surrender that transforms. In 2005, as Hurricane Katrina's floodwaters receded, a mother stood in her gutted home, hands clasped, voice soft, "Take this, Lord. I can't carry it alone." She didn't get her old life back. She found a new one, stitched together by faith. Prayer doesn't always shift the storm, it shifts you, rooting you deeper, lifting you higher. David knew this secret. My heart sings to you without ceasing. Even in caves, even in exile, he spoke to God. And God spoke back, not in thunder, but in peace that defied the chaos. Now try it. Take a breath, let it out slow. What weighs on you today? A fear that won't relent? A wound that festers? Close your eyes and say it. Out loud or in silence, it doesn't matter. "I'm tired. Help me." Feel the words leave you, like stones dropping into a still pond. rippling outward. You're not alone in that moment. In 1943, a soldier in a foxhole, bullets whining overhead, muttered, "God, if you're there, hold me together." He survived, not unscathed, but whole. Prayer doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be yours. And when it is, something shifts. Faith ignites, peace seeps in. The night feels less eternal. Here's a quiet nudge. If this stirs your spirit, if it feels like a hand reaching out, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a small step that keeps these truths flowing, touching lives lost in their own storms. Now, back to the journey. Prayer isn't the end, it's the hinge. It carries you from the valley's depths to the edge of something new, restoration. Psalm 30 doesn't stop at survival, it promises rebirth. You clothe me with joy. Ahead, we'll step into that promise, where broken things mend, where ashes bloom. The dawn is breaking. Are you ready? Picture a battlefield after the cannons fall silent, smoke curling through the air, earth scarred and torn, silence settling like a heavy cloak. Amid the ruin, a single flower pushes through the ash, its petals defiant, its roots unseen but unbreakable. This is restoration, not a return to what was, but a rebirth into something greater. Psalm 30 paints this vision with bold strokes. You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. David's song isn't a plea for yesterday. It's a proclamation of tomorrow, a promise that what's broken can rise anew. And that promise isn't locked in ancient pages. It's alive, reaching for you now. Restoration is God's signature, His art of taking shattered pieces and weaving them into a tapestry more stunning than the original. Think of Job, a man stripped bare by loss, family gone, wealth dust, body a canvas of sores. He sat in silence, wrestling with why, yet clung to faith's thin thread. And then the turn. God didn't just patch him up. He doubled the blessing, breathing life into a story that seemed finished. The Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. That's not a fairy tale. It's a pattern. In 1995, John Smith lay in a hospital bed, legs crushed in a car wreck, doctors shaking their heads. Faith fueled him through years of pain, and he walked again, not just to survive, but to inspire. Restoration doesn't rewind time, it rewrites the future. But it's more than mending, it's purpose unveiled. Every crack in your life, every tear, every stumble, they're not waste, they're raw material. Moses fled Egypt a murderer, a failure, hiding in the desert's anonymity. Yet God called him back, not to erase the past, but to lead a nation through it. His scars became his strength, his exile his training. Psalm 30 sings this truth. I will exalt you, Lord, for you lifted me out of the depths. David's nights of weeping didn't vanish, they fueled his dance. Look at your own story, that illness that humbled you, it's teaching empathy. That loss that hollowed you, it's carving space for compassion. Restoration isn't just healing, it's a calling to shine brighter because of the dark. History whispers this over and over. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina's survivors stood in flood-ravaged streets, hands empty but hearts open. A carpenter, his tools swept away, began rebuilding not just his home, but his neighbors. God gave me a second chance to give, he said. His loss became his mission. In 2011, Japan's tsunami survivors planted gardens where homes once stood, green against the gray of ruin. Restoration isn't a gift handed down. It's a seed you nurture, a choice to trust that the ash will bloom. Psalm 30 doesn't promise a pain-free path. It vows a purpose-filled one. His favor lasts a lifetime. What's broken in you isn't the end. It's the beginning of something vast. Now, stand here with me. Feel the weight of your own story, the nights you've endured, the battles you've fought. What needs restoring? A dream drowned by doubt, a heart frayed by grief, a faith flickering in the wind? Take it, hold it up, and let it go. In 1945, Viktor Frankl walked from a concentration camp's gates, his life in tatters, and chose meaning over bitterness. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude. That's your power now." Psalm 30 isn't a passive hope, it's a decision. My heart sings to you without ceasing. Trust that the pieces aren't lost. They're being shaped. This journey, gratitude planting the seed, praise watering it, prayer bridging the gap, lands here in restoration's embrace. Every step has led to this. A dawn that doesn't just break, but blazes. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. stood on steps worn by struggle and saw a nation reborn through faith. "I have a dream," he said, not because the fight was over, but because he trusted its end. That trust is yours. The night may linger, the scars may ache, but joy comes, wild, unshakable, yours. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. It's not a maybe, it's a certainty. One last nudge. If this stirs you, if it lights your path, join us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's a small act that keeps this flame burning, reaching others lost in their shadows. Now, a final invitation. Write it down, say it loud. My story is in God's hands, and He is restoring all things. Let that be your anthem. The past doesn't own you. The future calls you. Every tear you've shed, every prayer you've whispered. God hasn't missed a single one. He's crafting something extraordinary, not just for you, but through you. The dawn is here. Step into it.